If you're skinny fat, here's exactly what you need to do to get jacked. And there are two categories of skinny fat that I want to tackle because those are the most common cases. And after I tackle those categories, I'm going to tell you some lifestyle habits and mindset habits that are going to be key in crushing your journey that no one talks about. So the first skinny fat is truly skinny. So you're someone that's skinny, doesn't have a lot of fat, doesn't have a lot of muscle either. In that specific situation, I would have that person gain weight. So I would put them in a calorie surplus, eating sufficient protein. So for me, that I'm 5'11", that probably means being somewhere around 140 pounds. So I would put myself at 150 grams of protein every single day with the goal of gaining somewhere between 0.5 to 1 pound per week. And I would do that for around 20 to 24 weeks. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna be following a well-structured training program to make sure that most of the weight that I gain is muscle and very little body fat. And the biggest challenge that I see these people have is eating sufficient calories. So in this situation, they feel full and they struggle to eat all the food that they gotta eat to achieve weight gain. So the things you can do if this is your case: one, start eating very early. Don't wait to have your first meal, because the later you wait, then the less time you'll have to eat all the food and the harder it'll be. The second thing that you gotta do is make sure that you include foods that are very high in calories and very low in volume. If you eat just a whole food plant-based diet, it'll be really hard to put yourself in a calorie surplus because whole foods tend to be very high in fiber, very high in volume, and they don't contain a lot of calories. These are ideal foods for people that are trying to lose weight, but if you want to gain weight and you struggle with appetite, then you might want to reduce the amount of whole food you're eating and eat a little bit more processed foods. Just in this case, because you want to make sure you're intaking sufficient calories. And remember, this is a short phase. It doesn't mean your diet needs to be only processed foods. It still needs some whole foods, but if you want to gain weight and you can't eat enough, then make sure you include some processed meals to make sure that you're eating the calories that you need to gain weight. Now that's the first situation. The second situation is someone that's skinny fat. So they're skinny, no muscle mass, but they have some extra body fat maybe in the belly. That's very annoying, and they don't enjoy what they see. So this will require a completely different approach. For this person, I will start them off with a fat loss phase, and the goal would be a calorie deficit with a high protein intake. That's going to allow us for recomposition while we're losing body fat. That means that we also want to gain as much muscle as possible, but the main goal will be losing weight and losing fat. So they need a calorie deficit plus a high protein intake plus sufficient activity. I would set a daily step count of somewhere between 8 to 14,000 steps. And if needed, I might add a little bit of cardiovascular activity, mainly for health reasons. Now, these people will probably run into the opposite problem, which is hunger levels. Hunger gets high, and then they struggle to adhere to the calorie deficit. So in this case, it makes all the sense in the world to make your diet of mostly whole foods, because whole foods, they have lots of fiber, lots of volume, and very little calories. So if you can be full without consuming a lot of calories, then it's gonna be very, very easy to win. And I would have this person follow this diet for 16 to 20 weeks. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do after that initial phase, but I'm gonna leave that for another video because this video is about helping you get started and setting up a framework and a structure for the beginning of your fitness journey. Now, let's talk about some habits that are gonna make or break your success. The first habit is reminding yourself that your actions matter more than your words, because your goals don't care about how much you want them. And one of my fitness coaches used to tell me this. Charlie, shout out to you. Look at this big guy. He used to tell me this all the time. And that's absolutely true, because you can express how much you desire to be healthy, how much you desire to be jacked. But desiring and expressing and telling everyone, it's not going to help you get there. Your actions will help you get there. So unless you're willing to back up your words with your actions, you will not get to your goals. So make sure that you do the things that are required for you to do to achieve the goals that you want. Which leads me to my second point, and that is control what you can control and let go of what you can't control. Ideally, you want to trust the plan that you're following so that you're not second guessing yourself or having anxiety of whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Because if you have anxiety and you're not sure about what you're doing, it's going to be really hard to stick to the plan. So get a plan that you actually trust, that allows you to just focus on executing and of letting go of the things that are outside of your control. Sometimes you will see the scale spike up if you're trying to lose weight, and then if you trust the plan, you will know that's part of the process and you will not freak out. But if you don't trust the plan, that might lead to you saying, this is not working, screw this, I'm out. and then you're back to square one or zero because you end up gaining the weight back. So make sure you have a plan that you actually trust and that you can follow. Now let's talk about some lifestyle practical habits that also are incredibly important to fitness. Number one is sleep. Sleep has the potential to make or break your fitness journey and your mental health and your physical health. Lack of sleep will prevent you from gaining muscle, from recovering from your workouts, from having mental clarity, from having mental acuity. So make sure you really dial in your sleep and do what it takes to increase your sleep quality and make sure you're getting sufficient sleep. Most people need somewhere between 7 to 9 hours to recover and to actually feel good. So if you're not getting sufficient sleep, tackle that first because that's going to be incredibly important in succeeding in this journey. The second thing you got to remember is don't quit when things get hard. Achieving a jacked, lean physique is hard, which is why we value it. If everyone could get in great shape without any effort, then it wouldn't be valuable and you wouldn't want it. When things get hard, remember, this is not the time to quit. This is where most people quit, and this is why most people are not where they want to be with their fitness goals and honestly with their life. So when things get hard, remember, push through and keep going, because that's not the time to quit. That's the time to remember that your actions matter more than your words. Expect to feel uncomfortable. Expect to be hungry if you're trying to lose weight, and that's part of the process. Embrace it. And expect to feel full if you're trying to gain weight. Part of the process. And the last thing that I recommend if you want to make this easier on yourself is having a coach and having a community that are going to be by your side. You want to have a coach and a mentor that you trust, that gives you a plan and that you can let go of all your anxiety and just focus on executing the plan because you trust that person and you know that if you do what they say, you will reach your goal. It's incredibly liberating to put yourself in someone else's hands and let them guide you towards your goals. And all you do is focus on executing the plan that they give you. And if you have a community of people that are pursuing the same goal, it'll make things way easier. For example, one of the habits that you gotta acquire is tracking calories and tracking your macronutrients. That's if you wanna get very lean and very jacked. And if you're surrounded by people who deem this as obsessive compulsive and that's all they say, and they're eating out and they're out of shape and they're not healthy, how likely are you to actually follow through with your plan? It's going to be very unlikely because you're not just going to have to do the plan, which is already a little bit hard, but you're also going to have discussions with those people about why you're doing what you're doing and tell them to respect that. But if you have a community where everyone's tracking calories, where it's a normal behavior, where everyone embraces it and celebrates it, imagine how easier it's going to be. You can have conversations about it. They can give you tips about what they do to make it easier on yourself. And it's just gonna make your journey way more enjoyable and way easier. Now, if you want these two things, I can hook you up with one-on-one coaching and with an amazing community of vegans. You can check out the description to apply for my one-on-one coaching, where I'm gonna be guiding you personally to get you in the best shape of your life. And you're also gonna join my vegan community where we have over 200 vegans from all over the world that are gonna be right by your side in this journey. Check out the description for the link to apply and for some resources that are gonna be really helpful in your fitness journey. That's it for today. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments.